Good morning, survivors, and how you doing? It is Kraken here, and we're finally here. It is Alpha 20. It was over 12 months ago I did my first update video on Alpha 20, but we're here finally, and we have made it. Today we're going to start looking at the new loot system, because that has changed quite a lot. So we're going to be looking into what now affects your loot system. So let's get cracking. Right, let's get straight into it then. In Alpha 19, your loot used to be attached to your game stage. This is no longer how things are done. We have a brand new stat. So if we come into our player and click onto the stats over here, we now have a loot stage. In the Pine Forest, there is no multiplier added to the loot stage. To get multipliers added and find the best loot, we're going to have to wander off into the other biomes. In the desert, you're going to get a plus 10 to your loot stage. If you're in the snow biome, you're going to get a plus 21 to your loot stage. And finally, in the horrible wasteland biome, you're going to get a plus 31 to your loot stage. So what does this actually mean? Obviously, we know there's other things that can also affect the type of loot you're going to be finding in the game. So lucky looter goggles, the best goggles in the game are the plus 5. If we put those on, we jump up to 6. So that is adding 5 to our loot, which is what it said there. So it's not gone up by a percentage. This number here just goes up by what it says. The eye candy also will add another plus 5. So that would take us up to 11. So if we were to take the eye candy and wear those lucky looter goggles, then effectively in the Pine Forest, you're going to be able to find the same kind of loot that you would find in the desert with none of these extra mods. But there is one other thing that does now affect your loot stage, and that is POIs. Depending on the POI, an extra multiplier will be added to your loot stage. So your loot stage is built up of your game level plus with the biome that you're in and the tier level of the POI that you're raiding as well.
If you do this for me, I will never forget you.
So we now have a job
This is
of
dangerous
Trader
work,
Jen,
but I believe you
and
can handle
let's
it.
go to that and see what it does to our loot stage. Right, here we are then, our first Tier 1 POI. Now, what does this do to our loot stage? Now, as soon as you step onto the bucket, the area of the POI, then this is when it starts changing. So we're now stood in there and we get a plus 3. We're going to check this for the Pine Forest, and then we'll check the different tiers in the different biomes and see if they give you a different percentage. So Tier 1 plus 3 to your loot stage. So one good thing to notice here is after doing a buried supplies, you get a chance of herbal antibiotics, and apparently the traders do have much more of a chance of buying normal antibiotics as well. So as you can see, buried supplies still gives us lots of food and things like that. I did notice as well, shotgun shells and 7.62 only actually give you 60 rather than the 200 they used to, so a lot less. But the herbal antibiotics, and if you know anything about me, I like to get infected at the beginning of the game, is going to be a big help. And there you have it, second buried supplies and a chance of a mod again, and this time an antibiotic. So maybe Kraken will just actually be able to survive an infection after all. Now, from completing the first load of jobs, that actually has given me enough XP to go on to level 2, and my game stage, my loot stage, has now moved up to level 2. And from what I've had a look at here, game stage does not seem to be a thing. We have our levels like we always had before, we don't actually have a game stage anymore. So is that going to be a direct comparison to what game stage used to be? I don't know. I'm sure we'll find out soon though.
Here's your pay for a job well done.
And there we go. We've done 10 quests. And we actually have some new things here. So you always get offered a bicycle. So maybe the fastest way to get transportation in the game is to do 10 quick quests for her. Because we know how easy a buried supplies, fetch tier 1 quest can be. And we've actually got a schematic for a helmet light. So this is actually very useful. I have no idea what this bundle actually is. Let's have a little look at pipe pistol bundle because I have no idea what that is. We have actually got ourselves 100 ammo and a tier 6 pipe pistol from opening that bundle. That is that is pretty damn good. Trader Jen, what have you got for me? So we have this special job opening a trade route. Trader Hugh. Very
this
nice.
Is a dangerous one. Try not to get radiated.
So Trader Hugh's going to be all the way up here in the snow biome. That's interesting because Trader Joel is over here somewhere. So you've actually now sent us to the snow biome. Very interesting. Okay. Now unfortunately Trader Jen keeps sending me to this burnt biome because it's the closest houses. Let's just have a look. We're in the footprints now. Loot stage is now 19. So for a tier 1 we had +3 to our loot. We now have +7 because we're in the burnt biome. That's why we've got the extra 10 on there. So tier 2 quests give us +7. Let's see if the nighttime quests are any different. So if you try and start this quest before you get to nighttime, it says down the bottom can only be started from between 10 o'clock and 1 AM. Right, here we go. Nighttime, restore power. Well, that's a bit bloody scary, isn't it? Let's see what that has now done to our loot stage. So no, it's the same +7. So if it's a night quest or a day quest, it is going to be +7. Let's check the tier 3s. Now one great thing we've got here now as well is that we actually have previous tiers. So we can now jump between tier 1s and the tier 2s because it was the most annoying thing was when you were getting up to the tier 5 quests that took 1 to 2 days to go through. That's the only choice of quests you had left, but hopefully now we're going to be able to jump back down through the quests. Yes, the rewards are not going to be as good, but you don't always want to spend that amount of time going through one of those big POIs, though there is more of them and they have been revamped, so we will be giving them a go. Right, finally, after a load more quests later, to go through this properly, we have finished another tier. Now, this time we get a mining helmet bundle, or the choice of a armor bonus bundle, or a food bundle, or a workbench. Well, we're probably going to take the workbench. Perfect. Right, so here we are, tier 3 quest the next day, and we can go back all the way to tier 1s if we really want to. Next tier. Here we go. Let's go and check tier 3. So here we go, our first tier 3. So at the moment it is 5 because we are level 5 and 14 now with a tier 3. So it's gone up +9. Okay, so tier 1 we had tier +3, tier 2 +7. Tier 3 is not a big jump actually, only +9. Okay. Right, well let's check tier 4.
You again. I'm starting to think you like Dr. Jen.
Right, there we have it. So we've got more of these bundles and a hell of a lot of dukes being offered as well. Melee mods bundle. I wonder how many that will give us. So let's have a quick little look at that one. 3 mods, okay, and very good ones as well. Those two can't go into the same melee weapon, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, still not that bad. Right, we can now check tier 4 quests. Right, so at the current moment, our loot stage is 8. And that's because we're level number 8 now. So by the looks of it, the levels go up one by one with the more XP you gain. Let's check that against the tier 4 quest. Now this is our tier 4 quest. Now we know that a multiplier of plus 10 is going to be added because we're in the burnt forest, which is the same as the desert, so plus 10 is being added for that, and we're on 35 in total. Our own level was at 8, so that's 18 to take off that, so that means plus 17 is being added to our loot stage before any other multipliers are added, like our personal multiplier for our level of our player and or the biome that we are in. Wow, Jenny girl, you have sent me all over this map, literally everywhere, but we've done it. We're now on to tier 5 quests, but let's have a quick look at the bundles. So we've actually got a 4x4 bundle. Is that going to give me a complete 4x4? Let's check. Let's have a quick little check. That's what I'm interested in. 4x4 bundle, open. No, so it gives me the wheels, it gives me the accessories and the engine. So we'd still actually need to make the chassis, but it would be very close to getting it. So let's see what plus we get from now going with tier 5 POI. Right then. Tier 5 quests. What are they going to do to us? We have a loot stage of 13, the same as our level stage here. Got loads of great gubs from the trader. Now, one thing to consider, our loot stage goes up now we've come into a town. So obviously there's going to be more zombies in a town, but the more you come into different areas, the loot stage goes up. So it's something definitely worth to keep in mind there. Now here we go. The hospital, the first of the tier 5 quests that I have got. Get it started, just make sure we're into the area. So overall that was a plus of 18. So it's not a huge change from the tier 4s that we had. So obviously there's always different things to take into consideration, what biome you're in, because we are in the green biome here, so this is going to be one of the easiest tier 5s because we're still in the pine forest. But one thing I did notice, just to summarize here, is very quickly we were offered really good stuff. Buried supplies also from tier 3 on, well, the tier 3 new buried supplies gives you extremely good stuff. These bundles were very good here. So mods, no doubt these will be randomized, so they'll give you different types of bits. But we could, after doing the first load of quests, there's a bicycle sorted straight away, so there's probably no reason to run off and build a bicycle, because after 10 quests, and let's be honest, you can do 2 or 3 quests a day quite easily. Within a couple of days you're going to have a bicycle. Workbenches and workstations. What I am going to do is, after I've finished this bit here, I'm going to put some stats up on the screen for you guys of everything that I've found through here. So this isn't straight from the Fun Pimps themselves, this is literally me jumping through a load of quests in Nav's game and looking at the raw figures. And last but not least, the last thing to show you is that there are now 3 different types of loot that zombies can drop for you now. Depending on the level of the zombie, Whether they're a hard zombie, an easy zombie, or in the middle, we now have 3. So it was always yellow before, and we'd get some good stuff from this. There are now 3 types. This is going to be a really good reward for Horde Night. So when you start fighting those ferals coming towards you, those radiateds, and again in POIs, if you get all those lucky looter books, then the chance of zombies dropping these loot bags is a lot higher. So at least we're going to get better rewards now for fighting those harder zombies. Anyway, that has taken me nearly 6 hours to complete and record all of this. So I'm now going to get it edited up. Thank you very much for joining me. Please consider hitting that subscribe button and a like on the video. Alpha 20, we're going to be starting a brand new series starting later on today. That is going to be The Infected. Please check it out. We'll get some definite figures from the Fun Pimps, no doubt, in the near future. But those up on the screen are the figures that we've got from going through and just testing POIs ourselves. That's all from me. Have a cracking day and take it easy. See you later.